Hi, we are live, and it's time to talk about the Mandalorian episode 2. And because we are live, I'm going to wait like a few seconds, before everybody notices that I'm live because these days YouTube and their awesome notifications are letting you know that someone is live, sometimes 15 minutes after the fact. Isn't that awesome? Yay! But anyway, guys, so today is Saturday. Well, actually, it's Sunday now. It's midnight and 10 minutes. This is one of the latest times that I decided to stream. And what I have been doing the whole day, you may ask. Well, I went to see a friend, I trained, I prepared some amazing meals, and overall, yeah, the day just have passed. So that's why I'm sitting right now to do this review, and I do plan to do another one actually after this. So yeah, I'm going to be sitting here at least to 1:30 o'clock, but I really wanted to talk to you guys about the second episode, and after this I'm going to do a review of the latest episode, Watchmen episode 4 actually. So I'm excited to a point, you can say. And hi Michael, this is actually the other point I want to make, that at least my friends from America are going to be able to watch me because it's more convenient for them, for me to be live this time rather than my own time, of course. So hi to you. I hope that you're not that busy, Michael, there. So guys, The Mandalorian. This second episode was very interesting to me actually. Batman. Hi Batman. How was the cave? mm. So yeah, the second episode was very interesting to me. It was shocking that it was so brief. I mean, I personally did not expect that. 28 minutes and poof, just it ended. Hi to Girls 4. If I can read it like this. So first part of the review, guys, because this is live as well, is going to be a non-spoiler as much as possible. I'm going to try to talk overall about the episode, and then I'm going to put the spoiler sign somewhere. I have it somewhere around here, so you can see it that I'm talking spoilers. So even if somebody joins at a later point, they'll be able to see the sign, standing somewhere around here. Anyways, yeah, very short episode. This episode, the previous one was 48 minutes, as far as I remember. Yeah, here's my spoiler sign, but we're not there yet, so I'm removing it for now. 48 minutes, and that is pretty enough for me for the first episode. The second, I'm just shocked that it was that brief, but it kind of felt like they wanted to tell the story that they wanted to tell for the second episode, and it was structured in a way and it ended in a place where I do think that it was logical to end this way. If they were trying to, get further and further so we can see what's gonna happen, they're just going to start literally the next chapter of what is happening, further into the story. So it would make a lot more sense to end it where it ended. So I personally have nothing against that. My time is, as everybody else, of course, time is valuable these days. So if I'm pleased with what I got with with those 80, not 80, gosh, 28 minutes, that's gonna be like okay for me. I don't have to sit for another 15 minutes on the couch and watching it, or walking on a treadmill anyways. You know what I mean. um yeah, it does have a Western vibe. Yeah, it does have a Western vibe to it, but let me continue. So this episode overall, again, I'm going to really, get to it overall. Um, it was going well, like the first like 10-15 minutes, no dialogue at all. I kind of felt like I was watching something That's, an episode of Wildly Coyote or Bugs Bunny. I mean, something that does not have a lot of, dialogue, or Tom and Jerry, actually. My apologies. It's midnight and 15 minutes here. So that was very interesting. And I did find it like awesome. I mean, that it didn't have dialogue, because what was happening was interesting enough for me, although it was Mandalorian himself with the little baby Yoda, so to speak. And all those moments with the baby Yoda was absolutely amazing. But again, not going to get into specifics, at least not for the next 5 minutes. And then, things that start happening, and interesting fight, and we got more idea of how a Mandalorian is in terms of, who he is as a person, that he's actually a good person. It kind of seems like it. He developed this very interesting connection with that guy on that planet. I'm not sure which race or how to call him exactly, but for now it seems like all of the internet has called him I have spoken. And this phrase is very interesting, but I'm going to get to that phrase in a minute. And and guys, what to tell ya? This episode had better CGI. We got more into, even Amanda Warren's suit and how it could be fixed and how it's made, so to speak. So we got better idea of how he is as a character overall. We got a better idea of the world and the planet, that particular planet though. We got a better idea of how determined he is to do what he does, and so on. So yeah, and we did get more of an idea about that sweet baby Yoda. And now, of course, the question is, what's going to happen to that sweet baby Yoda? Okay, so basically, the whole episode, it's very not like any other show that I've seen. It does try to, you know, it's very hard to find the words, but it feels Star Wars. It does feel Star Wars. It doesn't feel cheap at all, in terms that they're not, these two episodes, and this, especially this second episode, is not made like the movies are made, like the recent movies. It does feel more like the original Star Wars movies, because of those quiet moments, because the way that characters are behaving. That I'm visualizing and referring to this character on the planet that wanted to, that really did help Amanda, the Mandalorian, sorry. And he was like a genuine nice person on this planet. There's some kind of a genuine overall feeling about the show. It's very interesting, although again, it doesn't have a lot of dialogue. Not a lot of things are happening overall. The plot has not moved that much, but in the same time, it did move. So, mm, I'm trying to put my finger on it. Hi to Blockage and to Ivy are here. Yay! Although it's so late and we have the same time. I appreciate this, guys. Ah, yeah. Well, I'm not into spoilers yet, Blockage. So I'm going to be like in a few minutes, because there's not, I'm just want to say like the basics that are completely safe for those of you that haven't seen the episode. So it's like I said, it's hard to put my finger on it exactly, but it does freaking seem, guys, that this is actually nailing Star Wars. For what I know Star Wars to be from the original movies and from episode 1, 2, 3, but more it goes towards as a feeling, as vibes, as the way that it's made, as the genuine emotions that it is trying to portray. It really goes with the original movies, not the prequels. So I think that a lot of people will take that as a positive if they can feel and see that. And I many times I have said that I'm not really that much of a fan of the originals because I grew up with the prequels, but that doesn't mean that I can recognize some elements and stylistic choices if in terms of how things are filmed and shown, you know, chosen to be shown, in terms of vibes, feelings, interactions. Doesn't mean that I can't recognize these things, and I do think that there are present here in the second episode even more than the first, and I really do like it because um, no show at the moment has anything like this. No show. And I know that a lot of people could take that as like maybe weak writing because there are not so many things or dialogue or whatever, but I take it as very true. I mean, it kind of looks like they are trying to show that this show has a heart, the stories that it wanted to tell. And again, it does feel so much like Star Wars, and even the freaking credits when they roll and you see the pictures of Mandalorian that looks like, a storyboard, a concept art. It's just great. It gives it like a seal of Star Wars approval, like poof, you know. So so far I'm pleased with what I'm seeing. Definitely, I don't mind that this episode was not with the same duration as the first, because it did tell, sorry, the story it's supposed to tell for the second episode. And although it ended abruptly, like some people I heard that they're describing it this way. Yeah, Star Wars always ends abruptly. It's usually just a shot of whatever or someone and just credits, and we hear the music and the stars are rolling or just showing, and that's it. Yeah, so this is so Star Wars, if you ask me. It is so Star Wars. So I really love it. I really love it actually. I'm surprised of myself, but I really do love it. So I will give this episode, you can say like, I don't know, it's hard to judge it, but it's not like, maybe if you think that it could be better if there were some more exciting elements, but that's like, it's just according to the story and episode. So from that point of view, some elements are really really not objective. I mean, a lot is very, I mean, it's very subjective just to judge it, because I per se, like for instance, I maybe want to see a lot of action, a lot of dialogue, a lot of character development, a lot of special effects. If we are going by these points, you can say that it was like, phew, not so good of an episode. All the special effects of some creatures this time was very, 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 very good, and they are going with a lot of practical effects as well. But I'm gonna say this is a very quality one, so like maybe an 8 out of 10 for Star Wars. Anything, I don't know. It's very hard to judge. It's really, really very hard, but it's a good episode. There's a lot of quiet moments that were interesting to behold, like fascinating to behold. So I would say this episode is fascinating. Yeah, this is the best word to describe this episode. And now I'm gonna read a bit with through your comments, and I'm gonna get to the spoiler section of the review. And spoiler, of course, is just some elements that I want to touch upon that I just can't just like say it directly. Yeah. Okay. The studio is using Unreal Engine to do CGI, really? Now that's interesting. Because the new game, Star Wars game, is using the Unreal Engine. By the way, this game, guys, I really want to play it. But I can't have it. It's so expensive, and I already gave the same amount of money for, Ghost Recon, and I just forgot that the game, is gonna come out. So maybe if I didn't know that I'm not gonna get it in any kind of a way, I could have gotten it instead of Ghost Recon, but now it's all over. So if I do get it, I have to buy it from my own money again, and it's gonna take my account's gonna take a hit that I really don't like. I wanted to save some money for next month, so it's really hurting me not to play it because it does seem like it's my style of a game, single player, and that's another topic. That's another topic. I'm just crying like inside that I can't play this game right now, but that's another thing. Um, I'm not sure what you're talking about. You mean the whole credits? You mean I missed something after the whole beautiful concept art credits? If that is the case, I have to check. But guys, it's time for the spoiler sign. Here it is. Although I think the spoiler sign, oh, that's not, anyways, no, doesn't matter. I want to do something else. Okay, so guys, what I want to talk about is Baby Yoda first. So Baby Yoda, that's not supposed to be Yoda as far as I understood. Yoda is dead by this time. I really have to check my chronology to be sure, when this taking place, what, where. But this Baby Yoda seems to have, okay, thanks, blockage. Seems to have powers already. He is connected to the Force, and he's so cute. First, I want to talk about 10 minutes about how cute he is, but I'm not because I will not be able to go to bed ever. But he's so cute and he's done so well. He looks so real. He's amazing. Adorable. So, oh, god damn it, this time. So, when he lifted that big creature that, again, looked very well the second time, it was a wonderful moment. And then he slept because he had to gather himself. I mean, he had to recover, obviously. He's a baby. And he did this enormous feat and show of power, of strength. That was very great to see. All the moments with the Mandalorian, how he, got up from his flying crib and went there, maybe tried to heal him because he got a gunshot wound somewhere around here, or maybe it was on this arm, I'm not sure. It doesn't matter, but he tried to heal him, but this guy here, he didn't know what that was and what the baby's trying to do, so he just, put him back into the crib. And, he is also like battled, like he wonders what is going on, how he did that, and maybe he hasn't heard about the Force, or he only heard like tales and he's not sure if that exists. I'm not sure myself, what he must be thinking. But anyways, when the episode got going, the Wookiees, I think they're the Wookiees, or they're not the Wookiees. I always mistaking the Wookiees and these guys. I think that I totally mistaken them. How they're exactly they were called. Anyways, I'm pretty sure some of you are going to let me know. I'm getting pretty sleepy at the moment, so I'm trying to keep it together. Yeah, after the fall of the Empire. Yeah. So that means after episode 4 of 6, sorry. Yeah, so basically after Star Wars, the original movies. Good evening, Nikki. Good evening. Risky things. Yeah, but this baby looks like he's so smart. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, before the new movies, but after the original movies. Let's say that. So, yeah, where was I? So after the episode got going and the Mandalorian ship was taken apart by the guys, the little guys. Then of course, Mandalorian being the uh, warrior that he is, so to speak, he went after them, and I was very, very concerned about the little baby because, how is this script going to keep up with the ship? How fast can that thing go? And wouldn't be very dangerous for the baby if something falls on his head. So that was interesting, and I was like, what is going on? I mean, Mandalorian is being very, very, you know, what was the word for that? Irresponsible with this baby right now. Or maybe, just maybe he actually knew what he was doing, so he knew that he's not gonna be in any danger. Does that creep has some kind of a defense mechanism? I don't know, but I was confused about that. I was like, well, he's being very responsible right now. Because if anything happens to him as well, that baby, like what's gonna happen? And the other thing is that he knows how important this bounty is and how much he was paid, and maybe he's gonna get paid even more. Hi, Caleb. Hi to you. So, yeah, I was just wondering, like, how and why he would risk that. So, this is the only, like, question or problem that I have with this episode. That, from a logical standpoint, I was like, okay, can he like hit the baby somewhere, then go after them, or can he? I'm not sure. Like leave the baby with the guy that's obviously a nice guy, you know, the I have spoken guy, and just I don't know what he could have done. I mean, he wanted to chase them and immediately get his things. He didn't know how they operate. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just totally not getting it to this point, but just the first thought it was like, okay, this is irresponsible. Maybe I'm not correct about that, honestly. um yeah, the baby is very old. The baby is very old, but that's another thing. Maybe really they're they're not aging like us. Wow, that's very annoying to age so slow. I mean, you can age super slow, but just after you're grown up, that's gonna be awesome, amazing, but not when you're a baby, because that way you don't have any chance to develop, and you're missing so much of life the only way, if the only state that you could be in for 50 years is a baby. But I don't know how that works. We'll see. Maybe somebody's gonna explain it. I'm not sure. Um, it's the baby boom. Yeah, yeah. Who knows? Yeah, maybe the force is more. Yeah, that's a good theory. Who knows? I just hope that we're gonna find out, because Star Wars, even with the first movies, was very vague about so many things, and we're just supposed to like guess or just wait for the other movie to explain a bit of something else. Then we have more questions and just wait for the next movie to explain more. And yeah, Star Wars has always been this way. Like, shows you something, like a bit of a story, but then raises that story raises more questions. And the next movie they explain some of those questions, but again raises even more questions. So now we have, okay, never mind. I'm totally getting carried away, like always do. And so on, guys. So okay, so then the other guy basically explains how these creatures think, and they get his things. They make the ship. It is great montage how they make the ship. So I even like that part, because you see how that technology works. It looks very primitive, to be honest, because they are able to fix it just like that. Like basically all the metal and scrap, it just like a regular metal, and that thing, I mean, that metal is used to make a ship, and that ship is able to travel through galaxies. Like, for a high-tech technology like this, how those ships are made, it looks like pure scrap and like regular metal. So, and they have also cables, and they they, I don't know. I hope that you can understand me, because I'm so sleepy at the moment. But the point is that for the high tech that it should be, it looks literally like something that anybody can make in their backyard because it's just a few wires here and there. So I don't understand how this technology is that advanced to be able to travel through stars to sustain, I mean, withstand the space environment even. But yeah, that's just me, maybe. Again, I don't know, just questions that I have, that's been again raised. But yeah, after this, when he actually, you know, he battles the creature, he cleans himself somehow. Maybe the ship has a system about that they're also able to fix. That's again another thing. You have a ship, okay, but does every pilot like is also a mechanic? Because a lot of times, you have a car, you have something. Pilots these days that piloting, whatever. I mean, airplanes, war type of airplanes. They are not the mechanics. They have no idea how to fix those transport devices, so to speak. Sometimes when you have a car, you do have some kind of idea how to fix it on your own, but most of the time it's just so basic. You can never take apart and build again your car, especially from scrap or spare parts. So in galaxy far, far away, maybe everybody are some kind of a mechanic that are able to fix their own ship completely on their own, no matter if it is from another planet, galaxy. Everybody can do anything. The technology is the same. I'm just curious how those things work. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. That's just what I mean. Just observation, basically. So, so yeah, I was interested how a Mandalorian also was so determined to kill that creature, although that creature was basically killing him, and he was basically just thrown around like a rag doll. He was in very bad shape, but in the end, he was still keep going. He was still trying to kill it, and he was like, come at me, bro, uh, you know. And he had this absolutely regular knife, which again, in this universe, with all those technologies, just a regular knife, and he killed that creature with that regular knife. I think that it was short knife. It was not like a huge or long sword or anything like this. So it went into that creature. Sorry, just like this much maybe went into the creature, and that was able to kill it. Maybe it was some kind of a glance or an artery, or I don't know what he hit. But that also seemed very, very, very unlikely. I was like, what? And it was so, you know, the knife, it was very hard to even wield because it didn't have a very good grip on it. It was just like this metal piece with the blade. It was, you could basically say that is the basic of a knife, but knife that's definitely not finished. It needs to have a handle. It needs, the blade to go into the handle, to have support, and to be able to be actually wield effectively. And that was not it. That was the total opposite. So yeah, it was just like a piece of metal. So again, I was like, how is that creature dead? Anyways, more questions that I had. But yeah. Hmm. Yeah, maybe he has. Maybe, who knows? I didn't know this character, the I have spoken. So yeah, I have spoken that line. I really like it for some reason. It's like this guy says, I have ended this conversation. I will speak no more. Okay, I like it because it's his style. Maybe it's part of his upbringing as a creature of another race. Who knows? It's interesting. I like it because it does bring this genuine old feeling to it, you know? Like a literally like an old guy that's like, well, back in my day, we used to speak like this. So when I say I have spoken, that means that that's my opinion, that's where I stand, and I can't do anything more or less. It's just the way it is. It's interesting. It's interesting. I like such things that are different when compared to everything else that we already have. It doesn't mean that's like super awesome, but it does bring like a flair. It's like sprinkle on top or something. I like it. Okay, so yeah, that is it, guys. I'm curious to what's gonna happen because we do know how this Yoda baby is important. We don't know why they want it so bad. Well, except that he's maybe like the last Jedi or something, but the last person to have powers. Who knows? Or at least they think that in this time period that is the last. Who knows? And they want to maybe train him and so he can grow up and all of that. Serving them. Who knows? Who knows? Because those are the guys from the Empire, and the stormtroopers are so beaten. They look terrible. Maybe they want their next leader to grow. Their next leader. Who knows what they want? But we did saw in this episode that the Mandalorian is a great guy, or at least he has the potential to be, and he has morals, and he does appreciate help and all of that. He's not like without feelings or without any sense of honor. So I do think that maybe he's going to do something different, and this baby's gonna be saved by him. Maybe he's gonna save it later. Maybe he's going to give the baby to the fallen empire and people and then save it later. Who knows? But now I'm interested because we are yet to see what's gonna happen with that. We are yet to see Gina Carano's character and all of the rest of the cool characters that we haven't seen. So I do think that this has a ton of potential, and yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled actually. And we'll see, guys, we'll see. And maybe if this is very successful, they're going to consider making John Favreau and the other guy that he's working with, like the next lead guys for Star Wars. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. Mm, yeah, maybe Caleb. I don't know. We'll see. That is what is interesting because they did went in a direction with this baby Yoda that we could not perceive. So that is what we need actually. We need something that we can't really guess. It's new and fresh, and it could go into different directions that like the possibilities are pretty much endless. And the Mandalorian is a character, we basically see this world through his experience with all of that. I do think that, I mean, I hope that they're going to make some kind of a accent, not accent, how is the word for that? I hope that the focus is not lost on him because he is the main character. So, like, let it be on him as much as possible because when you have a main character, we need to get into his head, we need to get to know him or her, we need to know their strengths, weaknesses, we need to have layers to that character, we need to connect with that character somehow, some way. That's very, very important for a good character. So when you say the Mandalorian, what is this guy about? Who is he fighting for? I mean, what is he fighting for? His value systems, his morals, his principles, his mindset, his abilities, his powers, strengths, weaknesses, everything. So I think that's important for good storytelling and writing as a character. Yeah, milk. Who knows if he needs milk, but yes, yes. So that is it, guys. My review of the second episode of The Mandalorian. I hope that you enjoyed this, and thank you very much for watching. I really should be going, and I'm going to do Watchmen episode 2. Sorry, I'm thinking still of Mandalorian episode 4. Gosh, those are 3 fingers. Episode 4 review. Well, it's actually a good idea, but I'm going to do like right after this, so I'm coming back in 5 minutes. But to those of you that are going to go to bed, good night for now. But thank you for the support. Mwah. Bye, my cuties.